Shalawam Makyam, Kahala Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Kakwadash. I want to proceed this lesson with giving double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and a shalawam to the brothers in this truth doing it in sincerity. I want to touch on, Jacob's trouble and the time that we're coming into, man, because, hey, we're closer to it than ever, man. And we're seeing that, through these prophecies popping off, these other nations, drafting these men, we got that. You see that over here in China, Russia, North Korea, and it's soon to come to Babylon the Great, America. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. So Jacob consists of you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. No other nations, man, because the Lord don't know none of these other nations. It's only the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You are the true Hebrew Israelites of the Bible, man. You are the true chosen people of the Bible, man. All right, I'm going to start from the top. Just wanted to say that real quick. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. But he shall be saved out of it, talking about the elect, and the 1/3, the women, children, and some men, man. So this is the book of Revelations, chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time, So these so-called white men, the true nationality in the Bible, they're called Edomites, man. And they know, these elites and these banking families, they know that they only have a short time to rule this earth. And we see that with all these things that they're doing, man. They're calling true information on the media misinformation. They're trying to ban TikTok. We see that with all the things that they're doing now. They're trying to cover up the mess that they left behind, and all these other nations, are waking up to the fact that, their currency is overpassing the U.S. dollar. And you see that with Saddam Hussein and Gaddafi. The United States killed them because, their threat was they had that currency that was a threat to the United States dollar, which is no longer the world reserve. Now let me go into this is the book of Psalms, chapter 37, verse 14. The wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy and to slay such as be of upright conversation. So that's when they're going to start sending these people into these FEMA camps because, hey, as the world hated Yahushai, the world's going to hate, the hopeful elect that's spreading this truth, this gospel, man. It's the book of Daniel. It's chapter 12, verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there will be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. It's talking about it's going to be a time of trouble that, the whole world hasn't seen ever in its history, man. That has ever been as bad as it's going to be, with all these famines coming in. You already see they're destroying all our, our infrastructure of, getting our goods, man, our food goods, They just, there was just another explosion at a dairy farm that killed 18,000 dairy cattle, man. So if you don't see all these, explosions at these food plants and these, at these farms, hey, the Lord just blinded you, man. Because if you don't see it, man, you're just, spiritually discerned, man. You can't understand this. And it was not given to you. I'll start from the top. It's the book of Daniel, chapter 12, verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book, written in the book of life. The hopeful elect is going to make it out of Jacob's trouble, man. Hey, but some are going to have to be martyrs for the truth, man, and get beheaded. But it's going to be a merciful death, man. They're not going to feel a thing. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 8. And all these, it says right there, all these are the beginning of sorrows. These are the beginning of sorrows that we're coming into, man, because, you see these people in America living up their best life, trying to get that bag, but they don't see that this dollar is already, crumbling down to the ground, man. This dollar isn't going to mean shit. We already see that with that, that FED now that's coming up, ready to set place in July, man. Hey, they're doing away with, they're trying to be a cashless society, man. And we're going into that digital, that digital art, man. That's what we're headed towards that C-hit, man. If you take that mark, you can't repent from that, man. So these people, they're going to get so weak to the point where, hey, the government's going to be like, hey, I can give you some water. I can give you some food. I'll give you some shelter. And they're going to be so weak because they have no faith in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai that they're going to take that, that C-hip, that RFID C-hip, and they're going to trust this devil, man. Because we know that, hey, Satan comes in the spirit of Satan. And it's going to be so bad to the point where even these own women are going to eat their children, man. Hey, we just got to take into the account of what happened in Samaria when those two women ate their children, man. This is I'm going to start right here. This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 11 or chapter 6, Salakia, and verse, let me see. Okay, I'm gonna start at 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 25. And there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it, until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver, and the fourth part of a cab of dove's dung, that's dove shit, man, for 5 pieces of silver. When in now's time, that would be like, a lot of money now, man. I'm not too sure how much it would be, Salakia on that. But, things are going to go up in price, man. A loaf of bread is going to reach up to like at least $200, man. If anything, Lord, only Lord knows when that day comes, man. And we're going to see all these prices going up because, hey, they're doing away with the American dollar, man. This is 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 28. And the king said unto her, what aileth thee? And she answered, this woman said unto me, give thy son that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So these women were coming into account of, hey, let's eat your son today, and we'll eat my son tomorrow. This is chapter 29. So we boiled my son, and did eat him. And I said unto her on the next day, give thy son that we may eat him. And she hath hid her son. These women are going to get, brought down to that point where, hey, they're going to start eating their own kids because they're going to be going crazy, America's already been on this path of, eating 3 meals a day, man. And back then, we would only eat like 1 meal a day. So, these people out here are going to just get, desperate for food, man. And they're going to turn to their loved ones, man. They're going to get too desperate and start doing that, man. That's why you need to have your faith in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, that he is going to provide for you. You just got to take into account, sometimes, Salakia. So some of us are going to be sent into these FEMA camps, some of the elect, to wake up other hopeful elect, man, of the other elect, And you got to have that faith that, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is going to provide for you. You just got to take into account when the Lord teleported Habakkuk into the lion's den, man, with Daniel. You got to have that type of faith, man. And it's better to have, the faith of a mustard seed, than to have nothing, because, hey, it's a fearful thing to fall in the hands of the living power, man, roughly paraphrasing. You know, these people don't have that, you know, the protection of the Lord, man. And you gotta study and pray and fast that, you know, you have the wisdom and the knowledge in those days, man. This is the book of Isaiah 33:6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, is his treasure. You know, so fearing the Lord, you know, is the beginning of wisdom too. You know, roughly paraphrased. Let me bring that out. So lock it, bear with me. You know, this is Proverbs chapter 9, verse 10. The fear of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. You know, you can't gain this wisdom or the understanding of these scriptures, you know. And you can't just read this Bible like a book, man. You got to read it in parables, you know, line by line, precept upon precept, roughly paraphrasing. And, you know, to even understand these dark sayings is, you know, it's heavy, man. The Lord isn't giving, you know, these other people this understanding. You know, we already see these scoffers scoffing at the, you know, the prophets out there in the highways and byways, man. You know, they got them spirits on them, man. But, you know, it's you know, it's a heavy thing to understand these scriptures, man. And you got to be thankful that Yahweh Shem Yahushua has given you, you know, this wisdom, understanding, and knowledge of this book, man, of these books, you know, because it's something very holy to partake in, man. It's the biggest event in the world, you know, to partake in. You know, I just wanted to hit up on that, you know, that little quick hit lesson real quick, you know, of the time of Jacob's trouble. You know, some of us being sent into them FEMA camps, and, you know, the famine that's coming up, man. You know, I hope this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect. I'm going to say shalom.